US President Donald Trump has confirmed he will attend Sunday's FIFA Club World Cup final. It's taking place in New Jersey. As you know, the entire tournament was staged across all states of the United States. The news came a day after FIFA World Football's governing body announced it has opened an office in New York, in Trump's Tower. The United States is hosting the first edition of an expanded Club World Cup, 32 teams, and it will be co-host for next year's World Cup along with Canada and Mexico. Chelsea will face Paris St-Germain in the Club World Cup final at the MetLife Stadium, which will also host next year's World Cup final. So Samuel Tiani Mabunda joins us. I sound very formal when I put that name in, your first name.
True, very true. It's
so now you know it's serious stuff that we're discussing.
I can see we're in the real business now.
I was actually looking at Mamelodi Sundowns' earnings over the tournament, 228 million rand. It's something that we've been discussing for weeks on end, saying that it's been a tournament for the richer clubs. It's been a tournament that perhaps could create a further divide between the rich clubs and those that are struggling to get there. So I'm going to ask you this question because even Bayern Munich had mentioned that they were looking at doing well in this tournament to try and bolster their war chest for their transfer season. So what do you make of this new expanded format and the money that's been thrown around here?
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really great. It's a great opportunity for football. It's a wonderful project that has been just released to the whole world, and for Mamelodi Sundowns to be part of it, like you say, that the financial aspects of the game really helps, because then you've got a bigger pool. You can get more players. You can be able to compete not only locally or continentally, but globally as well. So being able to be part of the FIFA Club World Cup, it really helped a lot, and we're looking to go back again.
What changes do you think need to be done before we get into the details of the final? What changes do you think need to be instituted, given that the participation tier, I mean, it was $1 billion that was earmarked as a total prize pool. And then they obviously further divided that into participation, sporting performance tiers, and that sporting performance tier was based on sporting merit and then commercial value. Again, the European clubs walked away with so much more than the African and Asian clubs, but they're not necessarily the ones who need this type of cash injection. It's the other teams, you know, Oceania, Asia, North America, and then Africa, of course. Do you think that needs to be changed, or do you think it was fair?
Personally, I think it was fair, because it starts off, we need to start somewhere.
Okay.
And understanding even with it may be perceived as though it was beneficial more to the European, but you look at the numbers that came to the clubs that are from Africa, it already has made a big difference. It already impacted the teams or even before the season starts. So the inclusion of or the expansion of the tournament really opened ways for not just one team. Normally it used to be just one team from Africa going to compete, but now you've got at least four that were there, and all found themselves in a position to earn more than what they would have earned during their whole league in 5 years. So it then tells you that as much as we could also be considered, because like you say, the commercial side of the game also plays a big role. People are more associated with teams from Europe, and when we are now included as Africa, it then sends a strong message that African football, I was really proud of the way the African teams presented themselves. So we send a strong message that African football is a force to be reckoned.
And you guys have now garnered this global fan base, people buying Mamelodi Sundowns shirts in the US and, you know, learning about the game as well. Let's look at the semi-finals and heading into the finals. I saw a great picture of Messi, Mbappe and Neymar standing next to each other, and people are like, how is it that PSG has been able to go from success to success despite losing these players? And it was just a reminder about the team structure versus the parts, right? What do you think about that 4-0 routing of Real Madrid?
Funny thing is that one of my friends was asking me, who do you think would go? Considering that PSG had got 2 red cards in the previous game, so they've lost influential players. But I still felt that there's so much of a unified force that it doesn't matter who plays. It's more about the team, and they all understand the mandate. And they've got an exceptional coach in Coach Luis, making sure that he brings the experience that he's gained throughout the years and he implements it. Now you can see totally different efforts being put by the likes of your Dembele, and being able to be clinical, playing against teams that he used to play, playing against Real Madrid. He played against them whilst he was at Barcelona, and being able to exploit the mistakes that they made and immediately punish, it shows that the great work that has been done by the team, by the coach, the technical staff, and everybody in that PSG setup really plays a big role.
Let's talk about the psychological battle then, because you have a team that has to perhaps restrain some of the confidence that they're feeling, maybe, you know, not let it become arrogance, but they need to keep that going, versus a team that is feeling pretty sure of themselves. However, they haven't had, you know, the same type of results that PSG has. What will both coaches be trying to get out of their players psychologically going into this?
You know, going into this, you look at the way in which, like I'll refer also to the previous game that PSG had played against Bayern. You look at the way that Dembele scored the second goal. Instead of him celebrating on his own, he's looking for Hakimi, who made a great dribble, and then he's blowing kisses to him to show that I appreciate the work you're doing. It's not that I scored the goal, but there's a lot of work that was done prior. So they acknowledge each other's inputs. That tells you that the coach at PSG has worked a lot with the mental state of being a part of the team, rather than having superstars that can do anything on any day. On the other hand, in Real Madrid, you need to manage egos, you need to manage the individual aspects of everybody having an image of their own that they need to protect. You've got Mbappe, you've got Vinny Jr., you've got different players. At the same time, you also need to work on the mindset. Remember, Coach Alonso just came in and he has to find the balance and make sure that everyone buys into his system and also maintain the group as a whole. So it was a little bit tricky for them.
There definitely is so much at stake. And I mean, even if we look at just man-on-man matches and encounters going into this, before I let you go, and also the tactical response between Enrique and Maresca, if we look at Cucurella versus Hakimi and even Palmer versus Dembele, do you think that is going to be there, or is there something else that you think will be a standout man-on-match battle going into this final?
I think definitely there will be those individual battles that we were all excited to see because of the way in which the individuals performed throughout the tournament, because there was a build-up of momentum and both teams are actually doing very well. You look at how Chelsea got through and how PSG got through. It's not going to be an easy, it's an interesting one. Although people are actually rooting for PSG, because definitely they are the current European champions. But also Chelsea, they've been doing well. They've also got a youthful squad that also has the energy to compete, and it's really going to be a wonderful tactical battle. I think it's going to be won on the bench.
Okay, so then prediction as I let you go.
Prediction.
Score as well.
Okay, you're putting me on the spot right now. I'll still go with PSG 3-2.
Okay, there we have it. Gianni Mabunda has given us his prediction. He says PSG is going 3-2, sharing his tactical insights into this final that's coming up. It really is a battle of the giants. It's going to be some exciting football. Thank you so much for joining us on Morning Live Sports.